Shalom, this is Moses Gumadi. Welcome to my channel, the Hebrew Bible, and in this video we'll talk about Qamats Qatan or Qamats Qatan as it is called. This particular vowel symbol, T looking symbol, which sometimes is pronounced as O instead of A. Okay, that's what we're going to look at. It's called Qamats Qatan, not just the Qamats. Okay, so let's read Genesis 10 verse 29. Ve'et Ophir ve'et Havila ve'et Yovav kol ele bene Yoktan. So what does it say? And say Ophir ve'et Ophir, Havila and Jobab. Kol ele bene Yoktan. All of these are the sons of Joktan or Yoktan. Now, if you notice here, we pronounce this as kol, not kal, kol. And we pronounce this as yoktan, not yaktan. You see this, we said yoktan. Now here, this T symbol we pronounced as tan, not ton. Here we pronounced as o, yoktan. Why is this symbol, the first symbol, O sound, whereas this is A sound, right? So this one that we pronounce as O is Qamats Qatan. And why is it Qamats Qatan? Is there a difference between them? There is no difference visually. Okay? There's no difference visually, but there are some rules. Although I must warn you that these rules don't work 100% of the time. So let's take them with a pinch of salt. Let's begin to look at the rules. This rule is from Wayne Green's grammar book, which is a practical grammar for classical Hebrew, J. Wayne Green. Okay, he says a syllable which is closed and unaccented must have a short vowel. And using this rule, we can determine many cases where Qamats Qatan or O sound can be used. Now let's go one by one. When you say a closed syllable, what does it mean? Let's take this word Adam. A is an open syllable, but Dam is a closed syllable. So this is the difference between closed and open syllables. Now he says a syllable which is closed, not only closed, and he says and unaccented must have a short vowel. What is unaccented? It means that, remember this, the text that I have shown in one of my earlier videos, how to read the Hebrew Bible. These three words are taken from Genesis chapter 1, verse 1, Bereshit bara Elohim. And these red dots are obviously, for those of you who are following my channel, you would know that these are vowels, and these green ones are called cantillation or te'amim, and they are used for various purposes, including stress and the accented, the thing we are talking about, unaccented, means the syllable that lacks the accent. Here in this case, bereshit, so the shit syllable has an accent. Bara, ra syllable has an accent. Elohim, him has an accent. Therefore, you stress on it. You say Bereshit, bara, Elohim. So that's the stress on the last syllables in all these three cases. Almost every word, not always, but almost every word in the Hebrew Bible will have an accent like this. So an accent is a symbol which is other than the vowel. Okay, you can find it. You can switch on and off the accents in the Blue Letter Bible as well, which I told you in one of my earlier videos. Now, the last point then, a syllable which is closed and unaccented must have a short vowel. Okay, a short vowel is, we have all these vowels, right? I have discussed these vowels in a separate video. We have reduced or very short vowels, which have like basically, like a shwa and a patak and a shwa and a segol, shwa and a kamas. So these are like short. These are called compound schwa and schwa. Okay. These are reduced or very short vowels. Short vowels are patak, segol, khirik. This is the Qamats Qatan we are talking about. It looks like Qamats. And this is also, and the medium ones are Qamats Sere. Now, if you look here, the medium vowel Qamats can become a short vowel Qamats Qatan. Okay. So that's what he's saying. He's saying that if the syllable is closed and unaccented, it must have a short vowel. Therefore, instead of, if there is a Qamats, then you should treat it as a short vowel and pronounce it as O rather than A. Okay? That's what he's saying. So let's take an example. This word, chokhmah. Chokhmah means wisdom. And let's break this into the syllables. Chokh is a closed syllable. It ends with a consonant because of the schwa. Now, imagine if this was not the Qamats Qatan. Instead of chokhmah, if it is chachema, so if this is a long or a medium vowel, it's not a short vowel. According to the rules of schwa, this schwa would be audible. Like, you should, it's not a silent schwa. So you should say chachema. But in this case, we treat this as a short vowel. Why we treat this as a short vowel? Because, well, you treat it as, these rules are a little bit, cyclical in the sense that which comes first. So this is a closed syllable and it is an unaccented syllable. Therefore, it must be a short vowel. The question though is that why is this closed syllable? If the schwa is silent, then it is closed syllable. Otherwise, it is not closed syllable. So they are mutually interdependent a little bit. It's a tricky thing. But in any case, if this is a closed syllable and it's an unaccented syllable, meaning the accent is not there, the accent is on the other syllable in the open syllable. Okay, so we pronounce it as chokhmah. Let's look at another example. Vayakom. Vayakom, the kof. Here, if you break up the syllables, here you have the accented syllable here, unaccented. So on the unaccented syllable, it is closed syllable. There is no doubt whatsoever. This is indeed closed syllable. We are not really depending on any absence or presence of schwa. So vayakom, period. This works 100% of the time. There is no question whatsoever. Okay. Take one more example. This is choneni, not chaneni. Choneni. Choneni. Why choneni? Because you do the same thing, just like chokhmah, except that you see this one, dagesh here, whenever, this is the third case where you have the letter following the Qamats with a dagesh. And you have the stress in this syllable rather than the previous syllable, which contains the Qamats. If that's the case, then choneni is actually technically chonneni. Chonneni. So we split the nun into two because of the dagesh. It's called doubling or gemination. So essentially, the dagesh is nothing but two nuns. Chonneni. Chon plus neni becomes chonneni. So na, the gemination or doubling of na sound because of the dagesh comes because of these two nuns. And therefore, when you split it like this, this syllable is actually closed. Chonneni. So since this is a closed syllable and it is an unaccented syllable, we treat it with a short vowel, which is Qamats Qatan, and therefore we pronounce chonneni. Okay, these are the three examples, main examples that are given in most standard Hebrew grammar textbooks. So that's why we've taken these examples, and this is how it works. So if you go back quickly, so chokhmah, you split the syllable, you should have a closed syllable and an accented syllable, then most likely this is Qamats Qatan, so you pronounce a chokhmah. Okay, not Qamats Gadol, which is a chachema. If it is a big one, then a chachema. Then if it is a small one, then chokhmah. Okay. Vayakom, this is again, when you do the split, this is no doubt a closed syllable. There is no way of any ambiguity here. So this must be kom. There's no other way. So these cases are very easy. And the third case is also very easy when there is a dagesh. Okay, when there is a dagesh, you can split it and this becomes a closed syllable. But again, we get into the problem similar to chokhmah, because one could argue, is this a closed syllable or not? But this is a closed syllable. We know there is no shwa here. We think this is closed syllable because of the dagesh. And therefore, I think there is a bit of a definiteness in this one. Right. The fourth example is wherever you have this word kol followed by a makef, right? It's called a makef. It's like a bridle. Then usually the stress is on the other syllable, the next after the makef. This word is pronounced as kol because it occurs before, and the purpose of this makef is that you need to pronounce both the words together very rapidly without much gap. You should say kol elle, kol elle. It's not kol elle. You should not give much gap. You should quickly pass through the words and don't give much gap. That's the intent of this bridle called makef. Okay, so wherever there is a makef and before that in this you have a syllable, a closed syllable with a qamats like this, it's a qamats qatan. Most of the times it appears, it applies to the word kol, means all. And kol elle, all these guys are the sons of Yoktan, is what we saw. Okay. Right. Now, I applied those rules to all the words that have similar things. Now, for example, here we have Yarovam, that is Jeroboam. So here we have the qamats and the syllable is closed, Rav, and here we have the accent in the next syllable. Therefore, Yarovam. Yarovam is Jeroboam. Okay. Chokhmah. We have chokhmah. Now the problem, okay, so let's hold on this one. Here, this is Vayakom, Vayamot. But we have here Adam. We don't say Adom, similar to Vayakom. We don't say Adom, but they similarly look similar, notice. So how are we going to deal with it? See, this hayata, for example, this word, hayata. Oh, by the way, let me go back. So what I've done is I've taken the chokhmah and tried to get words similar to chokhmah. Okay, you have a closed syllable in the front, and then the next syllable has a stress or the accent. So that way they resemble chokhmah. These are the words and these are the counts. Similarly, I got some words similar to vayakom. Similarly, words similar to choneni. But there is a problem with this, as I said. This is not hoita, this is hayata, and well known, we pronounce it hayata. Similarly, this word is ameru, not omru. Therefore, it looks like this rule isn't really working, is it? So we had a big discussion. Now take this hayata. The word hayata, if you do split, it's a closed syllable, it's an unaccented syllable, this is accented syllable, pretty much similar to chokhmah, but it's not hoita, it's hayata. So this is not actually a closed syllable. You should draw another line after hey, and that hey and this qamats becomes an open syllable, and then yod with a shwa, the vocal shwa becomes another syllable, and then so there are three syllables, hayata. If you make this a closed syllable, it becomes hoita. So it is not hoita, it is hayata. It's not hoita. Hayata is correct. So what are we going to do? So we had a discussion with a lot of Hebrew experts on one of the forums, and it turned out that the suggestion by a couple of people were like, okay, let's try the nouns. If you try the nouns, only nouns, because the chokhmah is a noun, so I get all the nouns. But in most cases, it will work. For example, korbano, korban. It's not karban, it's korban. Similar to chokhmah. However, there are a couple of exceptions pointed out. This read, this one, that one. Okay. These are no exceptions. These are fine. Vayakom, vayamot, vayamod, vayanos, vayarots, vattakom, vattamot, etc. Okay, these are pretty much okay. There's no problem with this central pillar. But, however, the third one has a problem. Vate, vatim or batim, vatim, this bevatechem. In all these cases, it is not votim, it is vatim. Vatim is not votim. This is not Qamats Qatan. Even though it looks technically similar to Khoneni, because the first letter you can write like that. And why are they exceptions? There seems to be exceptions to the rules. So these rules are not really robust. Please remember the rules. There are many of these words like chokhmah, korban, yerovam, and yoktan, and all these words, kol, etc. As you practice, you'll get used to the instances where Qamats Qatan is used. But then also remember the rules. Try applying. I suggest use Abraham Shmuelov's recordings in mechonmamre.com. There you have this MP3. I'll try to leave a link to that where you can actually hear the audio versions of all chapters in the Bible. And you could probably locate where the words are, etc., and try them. But there are exceptions. Here is a snapshot from one of the famous grammar books, Murawaka. He says the exceptions are there. He says exceptions are not numerous. Well, I mean, I don't know how many. Not numerous means how many. He suggests, and he actually suggests batim is indeed an exception. So even though it is an unstressed closed syllable, it says it's batim, not botim, right? So similarly, he gives a couple of others, but that's the situation. Okay, so that brings us to the end of this topic, which is Qamats Qatan. It's a bit confusing perhaps, but not really confusing. Just go back to the rules. It's a closed syllable, unaccented closed syllable, must have a short vowel. Most likely, if there is a Qamats there, it is Qamats Qatan, but try to validate it. That's all I'm saying, because there are some exceptions. Okay, thanks a lot. Do like this video, do subscribe to my channel, click the bell icon, and write down your comments. And I will see you again in the next video. Thank you very much. Shalom.